Hello and welcome to Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Tonight's episode is all about music and artistic creativity. We've got three very talented guests joining us to talk about their careers, passions, successes, and how the past year has hampered and fueled their creative process. Our first guests have traveled the world, but they now call Leamington home. Roger Hewett originally hails from Norwich, England, and has been playing the piano since he was 6. As a young musician, his experience ranged from accompanying ballet performances to performing on cruise ships. After moving to Montreal, Roger spent time orchestrating for film composers and working on projects for large production houses, including Paramount, Warner Brothers, major TV networks, and Disney. In 2005, Roger joined Cirque du Soleil's production of Corteo as the musical director and keyboardist. While on his world travels with the troupe, Roger met Kari Lynn from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Kari Lynn studied sociology and psychology and is a classically trained vocalist. In addition to her love of music, she actively explores the arts of photography, painting, and sculpture. She and Roger have forged a life as a married couple rooted in music and the arts. Kari Lynn and Roger join us now in the studio, and I am delighted you can join us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
You've both had very interesting lives. And so, Roger, most people, when they hear Cirque du Soleil, they think, oh, wow, how did you get involved with Cirque?
Cirque du Soleil, the main head office is based in Montreal. When I was living there for a while, I started to form communications with a lot of people. Actually, I auditioned for Cirque du Soleil back in the late 90s and successfully, but I was never able to actually go away on tour as they request. They wanted somebody in Japan the following week or something like that for 2 years. It was quite impossible at the time. But after a while, they were launching a new show, and I knew the composer, and he contacted me to say, would I be interested in arranging the music and forming the band for the live show. And in a case of a new show, you get to leave your stamp on something, and it was a lot more tempting. And we had several months of creation before we went out on the road, so there was a lot more time to prepare for it.
And now you had a different kind of role in Corteo. Tell us about it.
My role in Corteo was as a music director. So I direct the shows. We have an 8-piece band in that. The musicians were spread around the stage in 4 different pits. So we don't see each other, which is quite intriguing in itself. Mm-hmm. But we find a way of managing to communicate. Everybody is watching the action on stage. And basically, yes, the show is every show is different because it's very live and things happen, in acrobatics. So it remains interesting even after so many thousands of shows. So it's still...
And the theme of Corteo?
Yes, the theme of Corteo was about the funeral of a clown, which sounds very, very sort of sad, but it's actually like celebrating his life. And I used to say back in the day, it's like, we put the fun in funeral, it's sort of, It's a good joyous time, and everybody's having a really nice celebration of the passing of this clown. And he doesn't actually pass. It's like he's dreaming of his funeral. So he's still there at the end.
Now, all of that has been put on hold for a long time because of this wretched pandemic we've been experiencing.
I heard about that, yeah.
You heard about that. How did that affect your life?
Well, it kind of stopped, actually. We had just come off a tour break, and we were about to start in where were we? Brussels. No, it wasn't Brussels, actually. It was, anyway, we were in Belgium. And yes, and we were just preparing for the setup and the dress rehearsal. And they said, okay, we're going to have a meeting. This pandemic is getting bigger than we'd rather have to deal with. So eventually, after 3 or 4 days of 3 or 4 meetings, we decided that we would shut down. So we packed everything up and was sent home 13th of March, 2020. And that was it. So, yeah.
I want to talk to Kari Lynn, but I want to know where and how you met her.
We met in Columbus, didn't we?
Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, in the United States. I thought it would be somewhere really exotic.
No, not
Columbus,
really.
Ohio was fairly exotic.
It can be. A little bit of everything.
Now, was this during work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there with the tour, and Kari was working in front of house and ushering and doing various other things, and we just met.
Wow.
And it was just started off as a really good friendship, and it just developed from there. And it's
you were also diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017.
I've been through breast cancer twice in the last few years. Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great now. Yeah.
Excellent. You look very healthy, I have to say. Now, you've also said that ultimately led you to exploring self-portraits.
Yeah, well, I had done some portraiture in the past for assignments in art classes and that sort of thing. But in this particular instance, I felt, as a performer, that I really needed to explore what my relationship was with the world under these circumstances, because I wasn't going to be able to do a lot of performing under all of this treatment. And but I didn't feel, essentially changed as a person, especially as a creative entity. But I did feel the need to, present some of that to the outside world, because what becomes immediately apparent to everyone is, oh my goodness, cancer. Yeah. And I had a lot of different ways of looking at that. I was still in there, bald and, going through all kinds of crazy things. But it was still me, and I was still exploring. And so I started exploring that through self-portraiture and having fun with just the bald head that my treatment left me.
Now, in the way that your illness had an effect on you, your psyche, did your artistic work and expression help you get through that?
It's very hard to stay in touch with a lot of the parts of who you are when you're going through chemotherapy, I found in particular, because down to the sense that, you're very, things taste different. Things can start to look a little bit hazy. You smell different with the chemicals that are going through you. Everything is different except for certain things like your sense of humor, which may also change a little bit to the darker or whatever. But
and your sense of humor, you also seem to have a humorous look at your bald head.
Yes.
And I know that you created some pretty spectacular headdresses.
Yes.
And we have one right here, and we have that spectacular one behind you. Have you worn these?
This one I wore performing, the two of us together, for the Mill Street Market. I had made it specifically for that purpose. There's photos out there of me. If you're having, it's actually useful these days, if you're having a bad hair day, just cover it up.
You mean COVID hair days?
It's for the birds,
and,
yeah.
And so, speaking of performing, you're both very involved in the Bank Theatre. I know we don't have much time left, but so what's happening with both of you at the Bank? Roger?
Well, yes, because we're planning on opening as soon as we can, obviously, but we were still tied down as we were not able to rehearse or prepare. We have no idea where or when, whatever. So we decided we would opt for a virtual show. We're building a show right now, which is going to be like a virtual variety show, but with a bit of a twist. It's got a little bit of a dramatic and element that goes through it to keep people on their seats,
Well, I am so delighted that you came and shared some of this with us. And I know that people who are listening will want to go to the Bank and check out what you're doing. Thank you both so much. It's just been such a treat. And now, to give our viewers a taste of your talent, here is a song that you produced with other musicians from Essex County. These lyrics resonate especially right now. Tomorrow the sun will shine bright, and everything that was wrong will be all right. Take a listen now to Kari Lynn's dulcet tones and Roger's orchestrations here with Good Night, Good Night.
I've dug myself into a hole, and I've climbed out. Don't know where I'm going, I only know where I've been. Good night, good night, good night. Turn off the light. Tomorrow the sun will shine bright, and everything that was wrong will be alright. The sky is bright, the moon is full. I have been around the world, it's beautiful. Still don't know where I'm going, I only know where I've been. Good night, good night. Turn off the light. Tomorrow the sun will shine bright, and everything that was wrong will be alright. I've been alone, I've been with you. I've died in hunger for a love that I have never known. I still don't know where I'm going, I only know where I've been. Good night, good night, good night. Turn off the light. Tomorrow the sun will shine bright, and everything that was wrong will be alright.
It was a lovely piece of music. Well, our second guest co-wrote the song you just heard. Bakhus Saba is a real estate agent by day and a songwriter by night. He's been writing for 32 years. Bakhus has worked with a variety of local artists and enjoys the process of telling a story through his lyrics. He's most proud of some very personal songs that explore the painful journey of someone living with Alzheimer's. These songs, I Am Old, Still a Child, and You Are Here, reflect on the challenges of the disease from varying perspectives. Bakhus knows the subject matter well. He took care of his mother and eventually had to make the difficult decision to move her into a long-term care home. Bakhus, welcome to Scribes and Songsters.
Thank you.
That's Good Night, Good Night. It was a lovely piece of music. Which you co-wrote?
Yes, I wrote that with Martin Wall, and it was a 5-song session. Actually, we wrote 5, and that would have been, I think, around 211, 212, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Now, you've had quite a journey with your mom. What's it been like?
I was just there. It's a slow. She's leaving slowly. And it's hard to see. And I'm there every day. The past year has been tough with COVID because there's been 4-month stretch where I didn't see her and another 2-month stretch that I didn't see her at Christmas. So it has been very difficult this year.
That type of journey must bring a lot of painful moments. Does it also bring some joyful moments?
Yes, it does. I guess the joyful moments is I have never had children, so it's like I'm taking care of a child, which you're taking care of your mom.
Yes.
So that part of it is the joy of it.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is being there. You just be there.
And how did writing songs about it help you? Or how is it helping you?
It's from the experience of being there in the home. That's how I Am Old came about. And that was watching other residents not getting any visitors. And that was heartbreaking. And I thought, how can that happen? And one thing that stuck out was one of the residents said, my son from Toronto sees me more than my son that lives here.
What a sad thing to say,
She was telling the truth.
Truth, yeah.
And I thought, wow, that was... And that triggered the one song that all of a sudden, bang. Because the fellow that I wrote it with had sent me the music, and I could not figure out what to write. And all of a sudden, when she said that, it all came together. And I shared it with Laura Supan, and she took the lyrics and had the music, and she created the melody. And Charlie, who wrote the music, just wow.
Yeah. Now, you're also really involved in trying to bring attention to this ghastly disease. And the lyrics to the song "You Are Here" are really quite heartbreaking on many levels. And if you'd forgive me while I read them, all the memories I've known are fading into the unknown. The life I live with the people I love are ghosts that haunt me now. How emotional is it writing this?
You know how that came about? I was online, and one fella that has early onset Alzheimer's sent me a message, and he said, you write about older people having Alzheimer's. He says, I'm a younger person. I've got younger onset. Can you write a song about that? And that triggered that song, that there. So, and that one song has probably had the most play.
And what about the families of people with Alzheimer's? How do they respond?
By the songs?
Mm-hmm. How do they respond to the lyrics, especially?
Those hit. Because the other day, I knew a friend of mine that placed his mom in long-term, and I ran into his sister. And I let her hear the song I did with John Law. And it's about placing somebody in long-term care. And she started crying when she heard it. And it was outside the building. She was waiting for her test to come back so that she can go in and see her mom. But she started crying when she heard that song.
That must also be an emotional moment for you.
It was very much at the time. It still is. We've done a retake of that song also, a little more produced. But
now,
we sat down. We did sit down in a room on a kitchen table, and we wrote that song.
Now, of course, not all your work is about Alzheimer's.
No.
You write on quite a range of topics. Where do you get inspiration for those?
Sometimes it's maybe something you see on TV. Sometimes it's the way you are feeling, that mood you're in. Like Good Night, Good Night. It was after I placed my mom, and I thought, I got to start feeling better. So you got to say good night to those awful feelings that you feel at times, and you get better.
Yeah, and I know we have to, the time is running out, but I did want you to, I wanted to ask you, when you write lyrics, do you write for a particular artist in mind?
Not necessarily. No. Yeah. 'Cause sometimes I send it to a few artists, and then it hits with one person.
And what's next on your agenda?
I've got a country song that John Law has put a vocal on. I did only the music this time. A friend of mine, and it's a kind of a nice story because I wrote the music like about 1993, 1994. And a friend of mine that I went to school with and grew up with, I ran into him and I said, here, take a listen to this. And all of a sudden, he said, I got lyrics that I wrote from 25 years ago. And that came together.
Thank you so much for telling us all about your work.
Thank you.
And good luck, especially with your Alzheimer's projects.
Yes, I appreciate your time.
Now, we're also going to take a listen to one of your most recent songs, More Than Love. And then I'll come back because I want to know a little bit of the history behind the song and what it was like working with Sarah Smith. So I won't let you go just yet. Here it is.
There's a light that shines down on me. It'll set me free so I can see. Got lost along the way, but I woke up today knowing the importance of just being me. My children are always first when I'm at my worst. I've got their love, love, love. It takes more than love for us to stay together. It takes more to find our ways, 'cause I choose to never lose my kids. It takes more than love to be myself through this. You will never be a part of my life. I can never be your wife if I can't be myself. Forgiving's a part of living. It's in my heart, but it's time to take on me. Make this life mine. My children are always first when I am at my worst. I've got their love, love, love. It takes more than love for us to stay together. It takes more than love for us to find our ways. 'Cause I choose to never lose my kids. It takes more than love to be myself through this. It takes more. Children are always first when I am at my worst. I've got their love, 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 love. It takes more than love for us to stay myself through this. It takes more than love to be myself through this. I'm letting go.
Now, I have to ask you, what was it like working with Sarah Smith?
It was amazing. John Law gave me the lead, and he said, Sarah's looking for songs. And I had passed the song out to a couple other people. It just didn't fit. She took a lesson, and she did magic with it. The lyrics.
Very talented singer and
Yes.
a very talented group of artists, I must say.
Thank you.
Thank you again so much,
Thank you
Bakhus.
so much.
Well, that's all there is for this episode of Scribes and Songsters. Many thanks to our guests, Roger and Kari Lynn Hewett and Bakhus Saba, producer Liz Pettypiece-Phillips, technical producer and editor Gary Glass, and consultant Brian Sweet. Grateful thanks to Tony Toldo and the Toldo Foundation, and to Neil and Tina Queering for their support. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon, right back here on Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Bye for now.